The rain lashes against the windows of Balmoral as Prince William closes the heavy oak door behind him. Inside the private sitting room, only 3 people are present: William, Princess Anne, and Catherine. No staff, no recording devices, no Charles, no Camilla. The fire crackles low in the hearth, but the real heat in the room comes from the thick file William places on the table between them. This meeting was never on any official schedule. It will never appear in any palace diary. Yet what they decide here will reshape the final chapter of Charles's reign and the opening pages of William's. The topic is one that has simmered beneath the surface for years and is now threatening to boil over: Camilla's continued influence over certain royal patronages, properties, and public messaging that directly intersect with Diana's legacy. William has reached his limit. Anne has reached hers. Catherine, ever the steadying force, has helped them see the moment clearly. The time for quiet accommodation is ending. The file contains years of carefully gathered evidence. Patronages originally built by Diana that were quietly transferred or diluted after her death. Properties and estates where Diana's personal touches were removed or overwritten. Communication strategies that minimized Diana's name while elevating Camilla's role in similar causes. Every page is annotated. Every decision is traced back to specific advisors and, in several cases, to Camilla's own office. This is not speculation. This is documentation. Anne speaks first, her voice low and precise. She has watched this slow erosion for 3 decades. She saw Diana's charities struggle for funding, while similar initiatives connected to Camilla received full institutional support. She saw talented staff members loyal to Diana quietly reassigned or encouraged to leave. She saw the narrative rewritten in real time. Anne's anger is not loud. It never is. It is cold, disciplined, and absolute. She tells William and Catherine that she will back whatever decision they make, including public clarification if it comes to that. Catherine has her own reasons for supporting this moment. As the woman who will one day stand where Camilla now stands, she refuses to inherit a legacy built on the diminishment of another. She has studied the patronages in detail. She has spoken with charity leaders who worked with Diana. She knows which causes still carry Diana's name in the public mind and which have been deliberately distanced. Her focus is practical. She wants the record corrected, the funding restored where it belongs, and the children protected from growing up in an environment where their grandmother's contributions are treated as footnotes. William listens to both women, then opens the file to a specific section. It details a series of recent attempts by Camilla's team to claim joint credit for initiatives that were originally Diana's. Mental health work, landmine advocacy echoes, even certain aspects of humanitarian work in Africa. Each attempt was subtle. Each was dressed in the language of unity and moving forward. But the pattern is unmistakable. William has decided the pattern ends now. The plan they outline is surgical. Selected patronages will be publicly returned to Diana's name or to new initiatives led directly by Catherine and the children. A quiet audit of properties and estates will restore certain Diana-era elements that were removed. Communications teams will receive new guidance on historical accuracy when discussing the 1990s. Nothing sensational. Nothing that invites accusations of score settling. Just correction. Just truth. Camilla senses the shift before any official word reaches her. She has always been attuned to changes in palace temperature. This one feels different, colder, more final. Sources close to her describe sleepless nights and urgent conversations with Charles. She sees the writing on the wall. The woman who fought for decades to be accepted is now watching the ground she finally claimed beginning to move beneath her feet once again, not through public scandal this time, but through the quiet, methodical work of the next generation. Charles finds himself caught in the middle, as he has been for years. He receives a detailed briefing from William during a private walk at Highgrove. The conversation is respectful but unyielding. William acknowledges his father's love for Camilla. He acknowledges the complexity of their shared history. But he makes clear that the institution cannot continue to allow one narrative to slowly erase another. Charles listens, nods, and says little. Those present say he looked older when the walk ended. The man who spent a lifetime trying to balance heart and duty is now facing the reality that the two cannot always be reconciled. The first visible changes come quietly. A major mental health initiative long associated with Camilla is rebranded with stronger references to Diana's pioneering work in the field. A property renovation project at one of the estates quietly restores a Diana-era garden feature that had been removed. Internal palace communications begin including Diana's name with new frequency and respect. Each change is small on its own. Together they form a pattern no one inside the family can ignore. Anne's involvement is the quiet steel in the operation. She reviews documents. She speaks with key staff members. She makes it known, without ever raising her voice, that she stands fully behind William and Catherine on this. Her decades of service give her unique credibility. When Anne draws a line, even senior courtiers think twice before crossing it. Catherine's role is equally critical. She personally meets with charity leaders. She reviews every proposed change. She ensures the focus remains on service rather than score settling. The public sees her warmth and grace. Those working closest to her see the disciplined intelligence shaping decisions that will outlast any single reign. Late that night at Balmoral, after Anne has retired and the fire has burned low, William and Catherine sit together in the same room where Diana once played with her boys. Catherine rests her head against William's shoulder. "We're not erasing anyone," she says softly. "We're just refusing to let anyone be erased." William nods. He thinks of his mother. He thinks of his children sleeping upstairs in the same corridors where he once ran as a boy. He thinks of the promise he made to himself on the day he walked behind that coffin, the promise to protect what was left of her legacy when he finally had the power to do so. The monarchy has always rewritten its own history to survive. This time the rewriting is happening in the other direction, toward truth, toward balance, toward acknowledging what was lost as well as what was gained. Camilla will retain her title, her ceremonial role, and her place beside Charles. But the narrative she helped shape for so long is no longer the only one that matters. Charles will have to navigate the painful space between the woman he loves and the institution he inherited. Anne will continue her quiet, relentless work. Catherine will stand as the bridge between past and future, and William will do what he has been preparing to do since he was 15 years old, honor his mother by building a monarchy worthy of her memory. The rain continues outside. Inside, the fire burns lower. The decisions made in this room will not make tomorrow's headlines. But in 10 years, when the history books are written and the children step fully into their roles, the shift that began on this rainy night at Balmoral will be impossible to miss. The House of Windsor is changing, not with fanfare, not with scandal, but with the quiet, determined work of those who refuse to let the past stay buried and the future stay blurred. Diana's son has opened the file. The rest of the family will now have to live with what it contains.